Me. Oh my gosh, we're live. We're live. Is that better? We're talking about fuzzy pictures as we go live. So we're cleaning our cameras to make sure. I was telling our guests that my phone always reminds me when I take a picture, clean your lens for a clear picture. So there you go. Hey, it's Wednesday, which means what? We're here for another edition of Live and Unscripted with Jen and Leah.
Spelled L-I-G-A.
Spelled L-I-G-I-A. Jen spelled J.
Or J-J.
Or JJ. However, anyway, okay, that was an attempt to be funny that really didn't work very well.
And that's okay.
It's totally okay.
Totally okay.
Oh my heck, we're so excited to be with you today. We have a guest with us who we met in Florida at the Women Supporting Women Retreat. And we'll talk more about her in just a minute. But for a few housekeeping items, what do we have today?
Well, there's registration for the river trip happening August 14th through the 20th.
Okay, time out. The river trip is happening, then registration is happening now.
Yes. Those are the actual days we're there.
Say them again.
14th to the 20th.
Of?
August.
I think you said April.
Did I say April?
You might have.
Maybe.
It's in August, 14th through the 20th. It's an incredible opportunity for you, whether you're a mom, in any kind of fashion that you're a leader. That's all.
I heard someone, I was doing a client call earlier, and I just remembered something. And they said, who's your book for? And it's anyone who is in charge of a group of people, or who leads a group of people, or
works with a group of people,
and that
including a family.
As a mom, or as a business owner, or as a teacher.
Classroom.
Yep. So many ways.
So a beautiful opportunity to get away from it all, learn some amazing leadership and business skills, and just really personal and interpersonal skills in an amazing setting. I was like, what just popped up?
I'm just putting the river trip dates.
Awesome. Thank you. So those dates and registration links will be put in the comments. Thank you to Leah, who is really good at multitasking that way. I am not. So river trip, we are still in our 100 days of expansion, and you know what? We're experiencing our own humanness in this, and pieces of like doing work and then not doing work, and being distracted and then having intense focus. And so that's what 100 days of expansion is all about, is for you to recognize now what you want to be feeling and how you want to be in 2024, and just taking the steps now instead of waiting until January 1st and hanging on to it for a couple of weeks if you're lucky, and then going on with the rest of your year. It's just an opportunity to really find some intention now and to start taking action. And inside of the group, that action will lead you into the about the 20th of February. So you can still join us, however feels best for you. So if you have got questions in regards to that, feel free to reach out. We'll answer them. And like I say, we're getting to experience our own humanness inside of that. So what else? Oh, Friday, we're having an MRE tasting party. Those are meals ready to eat. So in our special edition of Live and Unscripted on Sunday with Oli of Coming Home, we talked about MREs, and so we just decided we're gonna have a fun get together, and we can have 10 people here, but you're welcome to join us online, and we're gonna have an MRE tasting party. I would also recommend that you bring some other yummy foods and drinks to go along with it. So if you Andrew's like, you guys are dorks. Yep, we are. I would highly recommend going and watching the interview with Oleon that we did special edition on Sunday, talking about her Coming Home organization and the project that they're doing right now, which is preparing 104 or more special care packages for military men and women who are in places where there's not a commissary, where there's not all of the comforts that some of the military people get. So and that's where the MREs came in. There is contact information to Oli. You can also get a hold of us, and we can assist you with how you can help. On the Righteous Rebels page,
I'll also post that link to that Live and Unscripted, just because it's a beautiful story. The backstory was really touching, and why she does this. I really like that she structured her organization to be 100%. All the proceeds go to the veterans and those efforts. And it was just a beautiful story. And there's still time. I think she said till the 10th.
They're taking donations until the 10th because they want to mail out the boxes by now I can't remember if it's the 12th or the 14th. I think it's the 14th. So they are taking, there are several items, which there's also a list of those items available. Again, if you can't find them or you want just contact with us, ask the questions, we'll help you out. Yeah. They're also taking monetary donations. It's $16 a box to mail those, which is actually pretty fantastic. They're getting a special rate. And so they are taking donations as well for either items inside of the boxes or for the shipping. There's lots of ways to help. So reach out to us if you get you in contact with Oli, or we're going to make it as easy as possible for you to help with that project. And I think that's all for now. So let's start, and that's with just a little bit of breathing, just taking 60 seconds out of your day, or remembering that you can take 60 seconds several times out of your day to just bring your heart and your mind and your gut into coherence, to slow things down so that you can be more present. You can let go of everything that's already happened in the day, and you can let go of everything you think is going to happen in the day, and you can be right here, right now, where magic happens, where decisions are made more clearly, with more presence, and with more, I just lost the word. Intention. Thank you. That wasn't the word, but that's a great word. And just allows you to be really present with the situation versus trying to make decisions and moving forward with projects in a state where you're just like, because how many of us do that? Lots of us. And so this is a really just beautiful tool that you can do while you're driving. You can do in your office. You can do sitting on your couch. You can do when your children are fighting. Give yourself a timeout. Like, go and just take 60 seconds of breathing. And it's amazing what 60 seconds will do. Today we're just going to breathe. Sometimes we'll teach you how to do box breathing or other things. And right now we're just going to invite you to breathe. But as you do it, I am going to invite you to breaths, to act like you have a balloon inside of your belly. And so the head of it is right here. We're going to breathe it deep all the way down in your hip, pelvis, and sit bones, and fill your lungs, your belly expand, feel your rib cage expand, feel your rib cage around your heart expand, and not just a raising of the shoulders, which lots of us have gotten into the habit of doing. We're going to breathe it really deep and then just slowly release it. So breathing in through your nose, filling everything up, and then releasing through your mouth. As you've taken that inhale, hold it for just a second or two before you let it go. If you want to think about intentions that you've set, or you want to bring in happier feelings or higher vibe, feel free to do that. And if you want to let go of any of the shit that you got going on right now, or that you got hanging on in your body, feel free to do that as well as you breathe out. So also going to invite you to do this with a downward gaze or closed eyes, whichever feels most comfortable for you. And we're going to do it. It's going to feel like a long time, especially I always think about this when we're doing this. I'm like, I'm on camera with my eyes closed and it doesn't matter. So it may feel like, thank you, Leah. I love putting my hand on my heart as I do this, just extra connection. So inviting you to do the same. So taking those closed eyes or downward gaze, breathing in through your nose. Take it good and deep so you feel everything expand for just a second. and then release it through your mouth, getting out as much air as you can get out. Hold it for a second, and then I'm going to let you do it on your own. And in about 45 seconds, we'll rejoin you. Let's take one more round. Awesome. I love it. As I was doing that today, I was thinking of how many times I've heard people who practice breathing or meditation will say, follow the breath. Follow the breath. Feel it come in through your nostrils and out through your... It doesn't always work for me. However, today I thought about that and I thought, a real way to follow your breath is to do it outside in the cold, because you could actually feel the cold air come in through your nostrils and warm itself as it moves through your system and before it hits your lungs. That's a really cool experience. So if you want to have like this really present experience of following the breath, do it when it's cold outside and you can actually feel the difference in the temperatures of the air, and it's easier to follow. So that was my little inspirational tidbit for you in breathing today.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
Why don't we ask Andrea? I'd love to. See
well,
what
let's
her
bring Andrea on.
was.
Yeah, hold on. Show on stream. There she is. This is Andrea Bell. Oh my gosh, we're so happy to have you. Tell us what one about that, just 60 seconds, but what do you practice breathing? What has it brought to your world? Is it something you want to do if you haven't?
I feel like it's something that I'm like learning more and more about. And so when you were like, I like the different styles, like I am shocked. Like I love this one yoga class and she always has us do different styles. And I'm like, hey, I never learned that, but it's interesting, like what different types of breathing does to your body. Like you can like raise your heart rate or decrease your heart rate or whatever. So that was wonderful, just to take a minute to just be present in our daily work lives. I'm like, get so crazy. And so like having that moment to like reset. So I was like making notes. I'm like, I should do that multiple times a day. I intend to. It doesn't happen very often.
Well, and it takes a minute to get into the practice of it. And I appreciate you bringing up different kinds of breathing. It like sparked a memory of learning how to breathe while we were inside a temple in Bali and being in another country where they taught us different breathing methods, and a woman down in St. George who taught us a breathing method and the feelings that actually, like sometimes I've had like lots of emotion, or it's not panic, but it's just a lot of energy of like, oh my gosh, just because I'm breathing. So I appreciate you bringing that up.
Or how some types of breathing can make you feel self-conscious, but the feeling you get after. Yeah, that I was thinking.
I love that one. When you do it like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's my favorite. I like that one.
I love it. The buzz.
Yeah, there's like a bee buzz, bzz, bzz, and like how you feel that through your body. It reminded me of where we went on Sunday to a cart.
Oh, Eckankart. Yeah.
Eckankart. And we were doing like which I
they
know
do
that's a
hue.
sound.
They sing hue.
Huge. Yeah, sorry. Where I know that's more about reverberation and sound, but it also makes you pay attention to your breathing and really take those deep breaths and calm your body. But it has that added benefit of the vibration and the sound, and it just like settles in. And
it was, and there were only 6 of us in the room.
Yeah.
And I had to overcome a little bit of self-consciousness because I'm like, there's only 6 of us in the room. When for me,
they're gonna know what my
right, they're gonna know this one's me. Whereas like when we're in larger groups of people, that stuff for me is easier. But I had to say to myself, I chose to be in this space. I probably knew this was going to happen. So just like get over it. But it was really neat, which sometimes you can experience in a breathing exercise with other people. But just the resonance of doing it together, of hearing that there were 2 women and 2 men in the room besides us, and hearing Hugh come out of their mouths, especially the men.
Mm-hmm.
It just was, I don't have a word. It was one, it was beautiful. It was
it just had a different resonance
neat
to it. Like it was deeper, and it just had like a tone, like I don't know.
And they didn't care.
Yeah.
They didn't care. They just were, they're more practiced and accustomed to it, but still they just, it was neat to hear the women. Then all of a sudden you hear these lower voices singing Hugh on a tone. I was like, wow, it was really awesome. So breathing is an easy tool. And the way we did it today is super great. I know in moments where in a day, if I'm feeling frustrated or I'm in a conversation that's starting to go in a direction that I don't love, or the energy is raising in ways that aren't super intuitive or intelligent, I breathe. I actually will just start taking deeper breaths to slow my heart rate down, to slow my mind down, and bring me into a place where I'm less likely to cause collateral damage.
Right.
Yeah, that's good. That's good practice.
Yeah, I think so too. So there you go. And just a really quick welcome to all of our guests and the various pages you may be watching us from. Today, we are not broadcasting to our Righteous Rebels Facebook group. There's some technical issues with the platform. So we are actually on my personal page, and we'll share it over to the Righteous Rebels Facebook group. There is a page. We don't post there. So if you want the information, go join the group, please. You just click the button, boink, and magically we let you in. We are also broadcasting to LinkedIn and to YouTube. So if you're watching us from those platforms, welcome. Thank you for sharing your time and your heart space with us. And if you're not a part of our group, head on over, click the button, boink, and we'll let you in. We love what you have to bring to our community. And so anyway, if you're new to Live and Unscripted, this is a podcast that I started long ago under a different name. But I didn't love all of the processing that took place afterwards, trying to like clean it up a little and make it look perfect. And because it's not what I teach, we teach living life, unscripted, without filters, and really knowing how to be home in your heart. And so we do these live and unscripted. There's no set questions minus the first one. And this is a conversation that's led through inspiration. And so we invite you as the guest to be a part of it. If you've got questions, ask the questions. We'll see them in the comments. I see Jane's with us. Hey, Jane. Thank you. Thank you.
Yay!
I see Luba's with us. Woo, woo.
Hello.
We love all of our people. Ask questions, but also we invite you to, again, be present and lend to the inspirational nature of this program. So with that said, this is awesome, because introducing Andrea follows how I start a lot of these conversations, which is I usually don't know the people. I know Andrea a little better because I spent a week with her in Florida. I know that Andrea is a beautiful soul who, like, instantly I was like, oh, I love her. There's just something really cool about her. And our conversations were fun. And she was very, she's just bubbly and warm, and she knows how to follow her heart. She also has a deep love with helping women, people, but also, her focus is women in accomplishing the things that they want to accomplish. And she does it through crazy ways like taxes and accounting and all of, like, and I love, Andrew, your excitement in that stuff and wanting to share it with other people. And again, I'm just starting to learn the ways in which you do that. Andrea also is a mom of beautiful children, and I haven't seen her husband, but I'm sure he's hunky. So the wife of a hunky hubby. We also learned crazy fact, because Andrea lives in Utah, I live in Idaho, that we're crazily related, like legit.
Who knew?
I
We had to
know.
go all the way to Florida to find each other.
All the way to Florida.
But we've been at
It's
the same
crazy the
place
places we
multiple
have to
times.
go to find our people.
I know. So crazy.
I love it. So Andrea, what by way of introduction, what else and we'll probably get into this inside of our conversation. Is there anything else you want to say that way? Or do you just want me to ask the first question and we'll let inspiration just take care of the rest of it?
I'm good with whatever. I can't think of anything that I'd like to add other than just like I am a numbers nerd. I love numbers, so like I kind of like try not to tell people that I do taxes, but I more just like love helping business owners, and the reason that I love that is just because I love that the American dream is still alive and well. And I love to see people like living out their dreams, and it shocks me the crazy amount of things you can do and make money at. Like, I'm just like, I constantly am telling my kids, like, you can make money doing anything. Like, what do you want to do? Like, you can make a business out of it. And it's shocking to me, but if you have something you're truly passionate about, like, you can do whatever you want with it. You don't have to make money with it, but if you can make it into your job and do it every day, like, I think that's so inspiring.
Why not?
So I'm just inspired by business owners. So I love it. I love working with them.
I do too. Thank you. And I love that I get to watch you now do your job. That's not your job, to do your work and your love, and also to be a recipient of the magic that you share. So thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. First question. You ready?
I'm ready. I'm scared.
Are you nervous?
Yeah. You're like prepping for it. I'm like, uh-oh.
I know. It's all theatrics because I can. It's actually a really fun question, and I love asking it because it proves it doesn't prove, it just lends proof to a point of there's not very many people I know who are doing what they say they wanted to do as younger people. So with that, the question is, what were you like as a little kid, and what did you want when you grew up?
As I like shift in my seat. As a little kid, I was just the same. Like, I was loud and crazy. One of my first like things that I was like, I wonder if like I would have been different had I not received this. But I did a little Miss Harrisville pageant, and I won Little Miss Personality. And it forever, yeah. And I just was like, I have a what is it? Statue? I want a trophy. I couldn't think of that word. I want a trophy. I'm Little Miss Personality. So like I feel like it defined me, and I was like that already. But I wonder if I identified myself more because I had this little thing that said that's who I was, But so I was always. I bet I was 4 or 5. Like little.
Say that again. It cut out.
Probably like 4 or 5.
Oh, so you were really little.
Like tiny, yeah.
Could affect like how you may have shown up in junior high or high school. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was thinking about that just like last month, and I was like, I wonder if I didn't have that. You know what I mean? My parents have big personalities. Like, they've always encouraged us to do that. But so for sure, I was a big personality, like just in high school. I'm sure I was annoying as crap. Like, I look back now and I'm like, oh, I was probably so annoying. I'm sure I was so loud. I just hugged and squeezed and screamed about everything, and I just loved everyone. So,
okay, I've never done this. If you're watching and you knew Andrea in high school, I would love to hear in the comments what her big personality was like in high school. That would be fun.
It was. I doubt anyone, but you never know. You never know. I'm sure I was wild. I'm sure I was crazy. But I thought I wanted to be a vet when I was a little girl. I always knew I would own my own business.
Okay, so we're glitching on little pieces. You wanted to be a what?
I wanted to be a vet.
What? How come? Okay, how come a vet? Like, what in your world made you? want to be a vet?
I just loved animals, but mostly horses. So I wanted to be a
Okay.
large animal vet.
Large animal.
Yeah. And I thought I was
Wow.
going to have my own office and across the street from my house. So I always knew I'd be a business owner.
Across the street from your house. I love
Yeah.
it.
There was a lot. I was like, I'm building it right there.
Did you pursue that at all?
Yeah, that's all I read or like learned about. Like I always was obsessed with like self-improvement even back then because all I read was like real stuff. Like, and I read novels too, but mostly like I read all the books about like being a veterinarian. So, but then
Wow.
I had a human biology class, and when they did the open heart surgery and they sawed open the chest and then they did that gross like where they crank it open, I almost threw up. And I was like, maybe being a vet is not for me because I hated that class. I thought all of it was so gross. I was like, I got nauseous all the time. I didn't like the cadaver lab. I was like, I feel like maybe this is the wrong path for me.
Yikes. Yikes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so there's like a question formulating of being a big personality. Like, how can you give instances, or can you think of instances of being a younger person and, you know, at age 4 or 5, like you've won the award, you have the trophy, you're like, yeah, of where maybe consciously that played out in your world of like, oh, I have to show up this way? Because I'm a believer that we all have an experience and we live by this until we learn differently of something is put upon us, like Miss Personality or cute little, you know, smarty pants or peacemaker or scapegoat, and we live by those things mostly unconsciously. But were there instances that you're like, no, I have to show up like this because I have a trophy that says I'm it?
Yeah. As you said it, I don't feel like the personality one. I think that was just natural. I was just big. I just do things big, I guess. And so, and I just think I saw the benefits of watching other people have big, fun personalities. That's who I was drawn to, that I resonated with. Like, that's why I loved you guys. Like, you're just like awesome personalities, but like not like shy and timid, like big personalities, fun, like warm, loving. Like I'm very drawn to a genuine soul, like a genuine personality.
I love the word genuine.
Genuine. That's good. I do too. Because it identifies it. Because there are people who are not, right? And you can feel it. You can feel it. But so I don't think that way. But when you said peacemaker, I think that was the one. That like I was like, oh, I'm the peacemaker. All right. I'm gonna show up as the peacemaker.
Right? Can you speak to that a little bit? Like, when did you recognize that for yourself, and like how did you move around in that role or that character role that you took on or was given to you? First of all, do you feel like it was given to you or did you take it on?
I feel like I took it on, but then I feel like it was encouraged, which is great. That's a great trait to have, right?
Yeah.
So as a kid, same thing. As a kid, I truly just owned it, right? And as you get older and maybe more jaded by the world, then you're like, sometimes you don't want to be that, you know, but then you're like, but I'm the peacemaker, you know? So I think that's just as I've gotten older, I realized that was my role. That was my role in my family. But I loved that role. I liked it. I loved that I could be that person in those situations. And so I do think that I just wholeheartedly was like, yep, that's me. That's what I'm going to do, you know? But just as I've gotten older, like some days you don't want to be the peacemaker. Right? And it's harder as you get jaded by the world, I would say, maybe. Sometimes you're just like,
are you okay not being the peacemaker all the time? Like, is that feel good for you? How does that tie? Because what comes to mind is like being responsible for other people's feelings and, you know, being being that person that can navigate all people's feelings. Like, where do you fit in that?
Right. And as you said that, that's where I'm like, okay. I'm like, I didn't know that was my aha, but that was my aha, was that my peacemaker turned into an unhealthy people pleaser as an
Right.
adult. Right. And
Exactly.
so
Yeah.
I think the peacemaker is a wonderful trait. But like you said, learning how that makes other people feel, and then unhealthily finding myself even in business and as a parent and as even just a volunteer at the school, like you're constantly people pleasing. And that was my big journey that I feel like is my biggest message that I want to share. And the whole reason why I've like started doing things, reaching out, is I had to come to grips with that and stop pleasing everyone and take a step
Right.
back and say, I got to take care of me first so I can take care of these littles, so I can take care of my husband and my extended family and do these things, but in a more healthy way instead of just saying yes to everything. Saying no is the skill that I'm learning in my adult life. And it's hard.
I love it. So talk about a little more about that, of like that recognition of, I hear you loud and clear. Like that was my role too. I was quiet and shy. I had the fun pieces, but I'm the oldest of 7, and that was my role. And because I didn't like contention anyway, I didn't like being yelled at. I didn't like, I mean, let's be real. We had some duke it out fights with my siblings. Like one time I punched my sister in the stomach, and I bent my brother over my knee. Like we had some duke it out fights, but because we're siblings, but my role was that. And there's a big weight that comes with that. But I know my process of recognizing it and stepping back from it, and how it still wants to present itself today. So can you speak more to what, like when you recognized that for yourself, and how you started, like what it felt like to be like, oh, today I'm going to say no. Or today I'm going to let them figure it out for them. Like, what was that process for you, and what did it feel like? For me, it felt apathetic.
Okay.
Because I wasn't pleasing. And my action of not pleasing could possibly create feelings in other people because I'm not taking care of them. Like
you don't care.
Like I don't care. So like, what was that process and feelings for you? Because I'm telling you, there are lots of people pleasers or recovering people pleasers watching us.
And they don't know that boundary, because when you're sharing that, I'm like thinking of my own journey and how I attached so much of my value to how much I could do.
Right.
And like I couldn't say no to people because that was a reflection on me not being superwoman or super mom. And I really held tight to that. Like that was everything to me.
Luba says, well, a couple comments. Jane's like, peacemaking with boundaries and discernment. Absolutely. Luba says it's so tiring. Yeah, tiring to be a peacemaker. I don't want to do that all the time, and working on it herself. So again, there's lots of us out there, especially as women, I feel like. But I would love to hear your process and kind of how you've stepped through that, and where you're at now with it.
There's so many different ideas that I have as you say that. I loved, what did Leah just say? It so resonated with me.
Sure.
But anyways, I'll say like the biggest aha to me, and I just had this conversation with my husband the other day, was that when I say yes to all my clients and all of their needs and all of their stresses, like I'm realizing that I take a lot of people's stuff on, like I take their stress as my own. I'm like, I'm going to fix it for you. And again, that's the people pleaser, I'm sure. I want to fix it. I want to get, I like the accolades of, you're the best, you fixed it. Like, I love that.
Right. We're human. That does feel good.
I love it. And I'm words of affirmation is my love language. So like when somebody tells me I did a good job, I love that. So as a mom, I noticed I don't get any accolades, right? So then I found myself searching, I hope not searching, but I found myself doing things that I did get those because I loved working. I loved school. I loved those accolades. So I would like volunteer at the school or be in the PTA presidency, the community council. And you know what I mean? Like I loved being told that I was good at stuff. you know, and as a mom, you find that you don't, especially as a young mom. Like I needed that. I needed somebody to tell me I was doing a good job, because some days you feel like you're not, when they're crying and not doing anything right. And you're like, well, I'm not good at this. So sometimes I think it was healthy in a way too. Like I just needed it. I needed my soul filled a little bit. But then as I started working, I realized that I let all of my clients' needs come when they started to conflict with my kids. Then I was saying yes to them and no to my kids inadvertently, but I was like, I can get to that and I'll do that and I can do that. And then I was like, so much mom guilt, you know, that I was just like, crap, what am I
Well,
doing?
how did your self-care?
Yeah.
How did your self-care get affected because of that?
And yeah, that's always the person I know, because all of my friends do it too. I'm sure you guys do it too. Like you're like, the clients need me, my kids need me, the school needs me, I have church commitments that need me, but like I don't have to work out today. You know, I don't have to take a lunch break today. Yeah, it feels selfish. Yeah.
Isn't that wild though? Like,
selfish is so amazing when it's done in healthy ways.
It is. You have to be, truthfully, like and I heard that a long time ago. I think it was maybe like a marriage book, I can't remember, but that truly to have a healthy marriage, like it has to go in the right order, right? Like God has to come first, then yourself, then your husband. No, yeah. And so it was like then your husband and then your kids, and that was a pretty good like guide on how like life went, because I watched couples maybe put their kids first and forget about their spouse for years, and it was hard. And I think that knowing that early on in my marriage, I definitely always like tried to put my husband first, make sure his needs were met, and that I was like being a partner for him, you know, like making sure that I was, you know, I don't know, you want to like stay up and read books all night with your kids, you know, or whatever. And I was like, yeah, but dad needs some attention too. He likes to watch TV before we go to bed. So you guys got to go to bed and I have to pay attention to dad for a minute. And we're just going to hang out. And we just really enjoy that, just like that downtime together. And knowing and realizing that early in our marriage, I think was healthy, you know, that like just putting time into that. But you know, that's the kind of stuff like you're up all night working. So I wasn't doing that. I'm up all night working. So he's putting the kids to bed or whatever. I'm like, I just have to get this one more project done. Just, can you do that? And I'll get to it later. And I feel like I noticed it fairly early, because I didn't really work full time till my kids were all in school. So, but it took over quickly, like within the first year, I was like nothing to like, whoa, like so far in the other direction. And the conversation I had with my husband the other day was he was feeling so bad because one of his coworkers had passed away unexpectedly, just for like a massive heart attack. So scary, like young guy, like in his 40s, like so terrible. And all of the coworkers wanted to go, but we were going to California to visit his family, you know. And he was like, oh, I just feel so bad, like they want us to fly out there, they want us to go to the funeral. And I just said, you just have to remember that when you say no, when you say yes to them though, like you're going to in essence be telling your parents that we're on this trip with and your kids that he's more important than our family vacation, you know? And that's hard because it felt selfish to say that to him, you know? It felt rude.
Sure.
He like, that's rude to that person. But I was like, I'm like, ooh, it's so hard. And we kind of talked about it. I was like, but I think the greater good is to tell those kids, like, our family vacation comes first. Like, grandma and grandpa come first. Like, you could leave early, but you're going to hurt someone else's feelings. That relationship is more important than seeing somebody's wife that you don't know, unfortunately. Because it's not only
reality is they're still here.
Yeah.
Right? They're here. They're alive. I think to me, when you say that, it brings up like these phone things. Like, are you with the people that you're with, or are you with someone far away? And that's what that brought up for me.
That's good.
There's still, that family is here, that they're alive. You don't know how many years you have with the parents. Like, all of that is it is a tough decision.
They're tough. They're tough decisions. I feel like mostly they're good and good. You know what I mean? Like good and good choices. Like, but which one is
Yeah.
better? I think that's what is really hard for me. I sold off a big chunk of my tax business and I love my tax clients. Like they felt like family to me. Like I felt like I was letting them down. Like it was a pretty big, like, self-reflective, like I'm trying to think of the word. It was a pretty big hit to do that. Like I feel like I was pretty bummed about it, like telling them I couldn't help them, or like that somebody else was, and just even letting somebody else help them. I was like, oh, I want to help them, you know? And so that was hard, but I'm so glad that I did it. And I honestly sat my kids down and I was like, we were making some changes with my husband's company too. And I was like, I don't know if it meant to them, but like it resonated with my soul. Like I will never forget that conversation. And I just sat them down and I said, things might be tight. Like things might not be as like, and not that we live like whatever, but we live in abundance, of course.
Not what you're used to.
Yeah. And so I'm like, things might be tighter and we might have to say no to some things. Mom's going to stop doing that and dad's going to step away from this and we're going to do something different. But we just want you to know that like we choose you, like we choose you. And that means less money at this point, unfortunately, you know? And so like I said, I don't know that it resonated with them. I don't know if they remember it, but that was a big defining moment for me as a mom to say out loud, like, I choose you. Like, I choose you over my clients. Like, I hope that you know that. And I hope they remember, but they probably won't because they've never said anything about it. So I don't know that it was as impactful for them as it was for making that decision with my husband and I. And then like I said, like physically saying it out loud, like having them there as little kiddos and, you know, like some of them were teenagers. Maybe they don't care, you know, they probably didn't, but they were like, oh, crap, I'm going to get less for Christmas or whatever, probably is all they heard. But hopefully in the long run, like when they look back, I hope that that guides their choices, that they make choices that are hard choices, but that chooses their family and the relationships.
I love that. So having made those decisions to say yes to you, to the family, how does that feel now that you've practiced it for a bit? And how do you move forward in that practice so that because that's something that's really easy to fall back into. Like how do you continue forward in that?
Like you said, like saying yes to you, like that, I feel like that was the biggest switch. Like when I was making those changes, like it was easy to make changes, but to keep your mind and everything correct in making those changes, I realized that I had to take my health back. And saying yes to myself in the morning felt so selfish. Like it still does. Like it's still a battle. Even as I was watching like our the recording of from our conference and me saying out loud, like, does that mean that I don't do carpool in the morning? I feel so much guilt about that. I do it one day now. I feel so much guilt about not being here for breakfast, you know, because I always was able to, but it is so important to me and my mental health and spiritual health and just my physical body, the energy that I have to bring to the world and being a mom. I truly know I'm a better mom because I take time for myself in the morning, but it's a big chunk. It takes 2.5 hours, you know, to drive and get dressed and back and showered. And, you know, it's a big commitment, but I love it. And but I do say the word, I'm being selfish, and I shouldn't use that vocabulary because I'm not being selfish. I
think it's okay.
Have more energy.
Right? I actually think it's okay to say that we're being selfish. I know that's, in my opinion, that's a word that's been tabooized, and it's okay to be selfish because we're being selfish so that we have energy to then give out to everyone else. If we don't call it whatever you want. I'm actually learning to be okay calling it selfish. I'm selfish with my time, with myself. I take Tuesdays and I give that time to myself doing whatever I want to. Sometimes I'm playing big in the mountains. Sometimes I'm playing pickleball. Sometimes I'm just taking a nap and a hot bath.
Yeah.
But I give that time to myself so that I can refill and and give that energy to other people. I, as I'm sitting here talking to you and I'm listening, I for our believers who our listeners who believe in a Jesus story, you think back to all the stories of Jesus and how much he gave and all the energy it took, but how much time he actually stepped away from the crowds so that he could go practice some selfishness and refill and stay energized so that he could do what he needed to do. So, and I think that's any spiritual leader. My practice has just been more Jesus stories, but the more I learn of other spiritual leaders, they all do the same. They all do the same.
I love that. And I think that is important to follow that lead, to take time away, to take time to be quiet, to get away from the noise of all the craziness. I feel like that retreat that Luba put on was just so good for me. It was so hard to leave. Why is it so hard to leave as a mom? Like, up to it the week before, I didn't even want to go. I was just like, oh, this is so much work. Like, I don't know how I'm going to get everything done to be able to be gone for a whole week. And then I was like, everything's going to fall apart while I'm gone. Anyways, you try and set up the things, but you're just like, oh, just thinking about the amount of work I was going to have to come back to. But like, I feel like that's almost like the adversary trying to keep you away from doing the things that you need, because I needed it so bad. And I'm so grateful, for taking time.
This is the thing, like listening to you, this is the thing that I find fascinating about being a mom or a parent in general. Because sometimes dads get to be in the mom role as well, and vice versa. And I think about how we raise our kids and how many people helicopter parent, or how many people parent their kids and do everything for them. It's like when you're wanting to leave to go somewhere, and especially when your kids are bigger, my opinion is you're a family, you're a team. Our job is to teach them how to do those things, not to do them for them, so that when we're gone or when they leave the house, they know how to do that stuff for themselves. This whole concept of like, I get it, I did it, I've done it, of I have to get everything ready so things don't fall apart. Like, I think we have some of that backwards, and maybe it's our incessant need to be needed and wanted that does some of that. Like, if we really look into that, we want to be needed, and we want those people in our household to need us, to want us, which means we do all the things instead of teaching them. And so as you're saying that, I'm just thinking, maybe we need to rethink some of those pieces. And a show that we watched last night is really coming into mind. It's on Netflix. It's called Family Switch. It's super cute. I don't get paid to say that, although Netflix, feel free.
Please pay me.
Just pay me. No, it's just a cute story about all the things that we're talking about, and learning to see things through other people's eyes and perspectives, and putting the right order of self, family, work in the right places in order to have healthy functioning systems, whatever they look like. I mean, households are not all going to look like a mom and a dad and kids. It's whatever that system is, there's a healthy way to do that. And I don't know. I'm happy you chose the retreat.
Yeah, I'm so glad I did. I actually was thinking more of like work stuff, trying to get in order, because I am a brat. My kids think I'm so mean. I don't do their laundry. I don't your husband or wife is going to thank me that you know how to do your own laundry. You're going to be fine. Like, but they're like, you're so rude. And I was like, but I feel like it's good parenting. It might be rude and it might be helpful to me, but I think you're actually learning good skills from it. So I try to do that. Not that I'm good at everything,
So the work stuff is more, I guess maybe I just hear more about people talking about all the family things, especially a mom wanting to come do any of our events. I mean, the work stuff, but there's ways we have challenging because you own your business. But again, I think we teach people how to treat us. People would, I worked at a hospital as a personal trainer for many years, and my clients time, and I had to learn how to set those boundaries as a people pleaser and say, I'm teaching you how to treat me and how to treat yourself. And I'm get to cross this boundary. I'm not training you at 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Because you're going out of town. Like, you're going to get to do it on your own.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
so
hard.
I love
it's hard. It's
it is that I think that's why I'm asking, like, how do you, so continuing on you didn't want to go because of the work stuff, like, how did you step back into taking care of yourself so that you could go and have a really good time? I mean, I'm assuming you had a really good time. It looked like it.
I had a great time. It was awesome. It was so worth it. I think just going at that point, like, the commitment is what got me there, like the commitment, because it's always easier. But it's like that with and knowing that, because we do girls trips with like my high school friends, and you know what I mean? Like, every time we talk about it, once we get there, we're like, we didn't want to come. Like, this was so much work to get here, and then we're like, but we know once we get there, it's going to be amazing. And so, and knowing that also, like, wanting to teach my kids that too, like, take time to invest in yourself, spend money to invest in yourself. If there's something that you're interested in and intrigued in pursuing, like, do the work to get there, And so I think, like, things like that, like, are bigger defining values that kind of override it. But as far as, and like, letting my team know that I trust them, you know what I mean? Because it's hard to say and to pretend that everything is on me, but having confidence in them to be like, peace out, I'm leaving for a week, like, good luck, you can do it, And so I think those things are great to have in place so you can feel confident to step away, but also just allowing people to not do everything exactly like you want it done. So,
well, and allowing other people to shine in their skills and abilities, and know that you trust them. There's something pretty magical about that.
Yeah.
Again, you have to go watch this show because they talk about that too.
Yeah.
It's on our to watch, but everybody hasn't been home together. So I'm like, no, that's a good family one. Nobody watch it without us.
It's super cute. Leah, do you have last questions or thoughts that you want to ask? We're getting close to our hour. We try to keep, plus we have to be somewhere at 1:00. So
I think just what you were saying about having the team, like, where you talk about, I think sometimes we feel a sense of responsibility, like we have to look after it because, we're the leader, we're the, that was why in that movie, it's like, I don't want to give it to my team. I want to, show that I'm responsible for this. And, it's such a beautiful thing. I love that you said, letting other people shine and let them know that you trust them. And I appreciate those. I don't think I have any other questions at this point.
I'd like to know, like, what
it can go on.
We could go on for a long time, and there's lots of things that we could talk about. I appreciate you following this line that popped itself into our presence. But what does it feel like for you now to say no, or no, thank you?
Yeah, I love it now. Like, now, like, I'm like thinking of different ways to say no, or like thinking like. But again, it's like a process, like listening to a book and having it remind me, like, I have to choose my employee over a client that treats us badly. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, there's some clients that need to be talked to. Like, they might not be the right fit for us if they're not going to be nice to my employees. You know what I mean? And the message that sends then to my employees, that we're not working for money. Like, we're working to be rewarded and do a service and get compensated for it. But also, like, we only work with the people who fill us up, that don't drain us. Like, and so I got back and we were talking about a couple, and I was like, your new question for me is, how did you feel after you got off the phone with them? Because if that person is going to be a taker, like, from the first call. And I'm like, that needs to be the most important, because everyone that I've felt yucky on, that I'm like, exhausted after that call, just from how much their life is stressful to me, those have been problem children. And so I think that's a good way. And so I'm learning to like to say no. We've like got rid of some clients, raised our prices, and just like the workload has diminished, it's more enjoyable when you're more in alignment with what you want to do and what you do say yes to. I'm becoming a better business owner because of it. But it's a work in progress for sure.
I love it. I love it. So, what kind of work are you currently doing? And if someone wanted to reach out and see if there was good energy, one, are you taking new clients, and how would they reach you?
Awesome. Right now, I was kind of like, I don't know. We're doing a lot of talk about tax strategy as opposed to just tax prep. We still don't just accept like individual clients for tax prep. We do more like the whole thing. If we're doing your books, then we'll do your taxes, and we work with bigger businesses like that. So it just keeps the workload not so crazy. But I really am still interested in helping people truly learn more about taxes so they can avoid them if possible. And I think it's such a heavy burden that people carry that I would love to alleviate that if I can. So we're going to be doing several more webinars just as like free help. Like if you can glean information from it and do it yourself, that's awesome. But we would love to help with tax planning too, resources and stuff. And then we do all sorts. We do all the accounting stuff. So bookkeeping, we help advise payroll and stuff. But yeah.
I love it. And I just want to say thank you for the assistance you've given us in regards to our river trip that's in August, the 14th through the 20th, and how to help it be a tax write-off for people who are in business. And that was super helpful. I think we were already in alignment with that, but having your wisdom and your knowledge really just leveled that up for us. And so thank you. And what I love too is
to share too.
Yeah, different way to share. But what I love too is like you were assisting us, but you're like, hey, I'm going to make this into an article because other people need to hear this too. Like you were able to take that and spread it out to the masses.
Still need to finish that for you. I thought of that this morning. I was like, I didn't actually hit publish. It's done. It's done. I didn't actually hit publish. I need to review it.
We all do it. We all do it. So how would someone reach out to
for a webinar?
For a webinar,
website?
So just my email is Andrea@profitabilityco, C-O, like company, co.com. And same website, just profitabilityco.com. And there we'll start posting the resources and stuff there. And then we have like all of our social media channels too. So keep posting there. So
maybe you can send me those and I'll post them a little bit.
Yeah. I think like webinars and stuff will be more like on social media. Like we try and hit LinkedIn and Facebook on those sort of things. But yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And I look forward to seeing some of those myself. Okay. So just to top this off and get your last little bits of wisdom today. One, thank you for bringing up an important topic of recognizing how much we give to other people and take away from ourselves just by wanting to do the right thing and by way of people pleasing, how we take that into unhealthy spaces. So, from being peacemaker to people pleasing, maybe that's what we should title this one. Peacemaker to people pleasing. And just the honesty of your conversation. I really appreciate that. And so to top this one off, what would be 3 pieces of wisdom or words to live by that you would want to share with our audiences?
Gosh, that's good. I would just say like the biggest aha that I think is just all about like balance, like finding that work-life balance. I love my business. I love growing my business. I love progressing and moving forward in any area of my life, but just not allowing that to overtake everything, making sure you're still focusing on your health in all the different areas, making sure you're taking time for those relationships, Also, I think like the reason taxes are such a huge burden is because finances in general are heavy. So I think like not ignoring your finances is so easy to ignore them now that everything's digital and automatic and you swipe your debit card. It's so easy to be dissociated from that. So that goes for your personal and your business. That will lead you into things that aren't great. So I think focusing on your finances, making sure you're keeping those, and then like fun. Like the biggest thing I love about you guys is like fun and adventure and like enjoying and loving life. I think for too long, when you think about finances, they're like, don't do anything now so you can play when you're retired. And I just think that's backwards. I think we really need to focus on fun and enjoying and rewarding ourselves now for our efforts and just for being alive. You, like you said earlier, like you just don't know how long you have. So why wait to enjoy stuff? Like do it now, like play now, make time for fun, make time for yourself and adventure, and it blesses your life. So I think just trying to be more balanced, more even. The way that I keep trying, like interpreting it is like it helps you build a strong foundation that then you can build whatever kind of life you want on top of it. And if you don't have those even and balanced, then your foundation is shaky. So that was a pretty big aha for me. And that's what I'm trying to live my life and constantly reassessing, like, where am I out of balance and how do I get that more in balance so that then I have a strong foundation for everything else I want to build and accomplish. So
I love it. I love it a lot. And I love that like play was your third one. And that was a huge aha for me too. It was like that teaching of we put everything off and we forget to live alive right now, today.
Mm-hmm.
And which is part of why we do what we do is again, is that bringing you home to yourself where you can hear your voice. You're willing to be selfish in healthy ways so that you can continue to give to the people around you and make the contributions that you want to make in healthy ways. And because you really want to, not because it's put on you or you feel like you have to. And so again, that's part of why we do what we do. And all of our activities, why they look like play, and there's always a purpose and a message and a bigger reason behind them. And it's about building relationship with yourself and other people, and
taking abstract concepts and making them hands-on so they filter in and like settle into your body in a way that they're accessible. And it's not like, oh, this story, which are valuable, but there's something just so resonant about doing the thing.
Well, and in doing the thing, we hear often, you got to get clear. You get clear by taking action. And so we've just created ways to help you get clear in really fun ways. So thank you for bringing that up and just being who you are and the joy and the magic that you bring to the world. And you know what? You did a good job today.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. They're so nice to me because I don't love live. Let's do one. So I'm like,
oh my gosh.
You're awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, friends, don't be surprised if in the near future you see us hosting something together and then come be a part of it.
Yeah.
We would love to have you come be a part of all of our magic and have your life blessed so that you can continue to bless the lives of the people who are around you and in your circles as well. So with that, Andrea, thank you again. We love you so much.
Thank you.
I don't know what we have coming up for Live and Unscripted in the next couple of weeks because it's holiday, but we'll keep you posted. But until then, remember, we love you and be bold,
be brave,
be a rebel. We'll see you soon.